Welcome into a little bonus episode on my YouTube channel covering Dynasty rookie running backs, my top 5. We're going to count them down 5 to 1. But first, make sure to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you want the full rookie RB ranks, they're right up there on the Patreon at patreon.com/fantasyadvice. With that said, let's jump into our first running back. Number 5, Braelon Allen. So let's look at Allen's college stats because they're pretty good. 2021, 186 carries, 1,268 yards, 12 touchdowns, 6.8 yards per carry, and 8 catches for 39 yards. So then in year 2, we went up to 230 carries, 1,242 yards, 11 touchdowns, but down to 5.4 yards a carry, 13 catches for 104 yards. And then 2023, another solid year, very similar. 181 carries, 984 yards, 12 touchdowns, 5.4 yards a carry, and 28 catches for 132 yards. Now, our strengths about Braelon Allen. He got the workhorse profile. 3 years of 180 or more carries. We'd love to see that. Made an instant impact immediately at not even 18 years old in 2021. He turned 18 in January 2022. Immediate impact. And of course, his youth. He's not even going to turn 21 until after the 2024 season. So he's got a long Dynasty value runway. As for some weaknesses, the efficiency did not stay there after 2021. Does not have that much of a receiving profile, although he did pick it up in the last year. And I think the big concern is didn't run the 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, didn't run it at his pro day. There are speed concerns from NFL teams, which I think is going to make his draft capital drop, which sucks because just based on the profile, I think Allen would be my favorite running back in the class. Just statistics alone. And age, of course. But if he's not going to run, he's going to fall in the draft, and that sucks. So because of that, I've dropped him. I do think he slides in today, too. I do think he goes in round 3. I think these are the 5 running backs that go on day 2. Maybe Marshawn Lloyd sneaks in there. But I think these are the top 5 running backs taken. I have Allen as the 5th running back off the board, mid to late 3rd round. On the Patreon, I talk about potential landing spots for these running backs. I have Allen going to the Buccaneers to complement Rachaad White. I think that would actually be a good pairing at 89 overall. And if that happens, and just my guess of his value right now, I have him at the 212 in Superflex rookie drafts, 24th overall. So it's not a very strong running back class if the RB5 is all the way down to 24th overall. That's my take on Braelon Allen. Next up, Blake Corum. Now, Corum kind of has a similar in some ways profile to Allen, except he's a lot older. So Corum, college stats. 2020, didn't do much. It was the COVID year. 2021, 144 carries, 952 yards, 11 touchdowns, 6.6 yards a carry. That's good. We saw catches, 24 catches, 141 yards and touchdowns. So that's good. Then in 2022, the efficiency came down, but he had 1,463 yards, 247 carries, 18 touchdowns, and 11 catches for 80 yards and touchdown. And then 2023, even more work, but the efficiency went down again. He did score 27 touchdowns, which is insane. 16 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown. Strengths, he was strong. 27 reps on the bench, highly productive in college. He will excel in the goal line role. We know that. The question is, though, the weakness is the efficiency dropped with the added volume. Lack of receiving work wasn't, considering he had 258 carries and 16 catches in the final year. He wasn't used that much as a receiver. Age is the biggest concern. He turns 24 in October. If Blake Corum were the same age as Jonathon Brooks or even Trey Benson, Blake Corum would be my RB1 in this class. He is the best overall history of production, but he's not. So because he's not, then that's why I have him lower. Just because in Dynasty value, it's going to be hard. He's going to be turning 25 like a month into his 2nd season in the NFL. The Dynasty value is not going to ever be there for Blake Corum. Blake Corum is never going to be worth a 1st-round pick, I don't think, in Dynasty. So that's his biggest weakness. Projected NFL draft capital, this is like overkill at this point, but I have him going to the Chargers at 69th overall, early 3rd round. They're just so tied to him. I will be disappointed if he goes anywhere else I really hope that Jim Harbaugh gets him because I know Harbaugh likes him. Superflex draft value, 208, 20th overall. I'll have 0 Corum. I just am not interested in an older running back prospect who wasn't super efficient and who didn't do anything until he was almost 21 years old in college. So that just, although for those reasons, I'm not going to be in on Blake Corum. Next up, Jaylen Wright. So college stats for Wright. 2021, 85 carries, 409 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 6 catches for 22 yards. Sorry. Then we upgraded 146 carries, 875 yards, 6 yards a carry, and 2 catches for 8 yards. And then 2023 was the best year. Fewer carries, but more yards, 4 touchdowns only, but 7.4 yards a carry. And we saw 22 catches for 141 yards. Strengths for Wright, the speed at his size, 4.38 second, 40-yard dash to 210 pounds, high rushing efficiency, age, he just turned 21 in April. So for those reasons, he has a lot of potential to have value in Dynasty. Weaknesses, never was a workhorse, never. 146 carries in his best, most number of carries in the college season. Had no receiving production in 2021, none in 2022. It all came in that last year. So those are some weaknesses in his profile. Projected NFL draft capital for Wright, I have him early 3rd round. Giants at 70 is my current projection for him. And Superflex rookie draft value, I have him at the 206, 18th overall. I like him because I think Wright's going to take a little bit of time maybe to grow in the NFL, but his age gives him the possibility to do that. After 2 whole years in the NFL, he'll still be younger than Blake Corum is now. So for that reason, he just has a bigger runway. And that's what we care a lot. We care about value with these prospects. It's not just who is the better running back year 1. If I were picking that, Blake Corum would be maybe number 1. But he's not, because dynasty value over time matters a lot, and Jaylen Wright has a much longer runway than Blake Corum. Next up, Trey Benson. So Trey Benson has an interesting college career because it started at Oregon and not much happened there. He was injured in 2020, and then 2021, he only had 6 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. Transferred to Florida State, and then was a lot better. In 2022, became the starter, 154 carries, 990 yards, 9 touchdowns, 6.4 yards a carry, 13 catches for 144 yards, and then essentially just duplicated that in 2023. A little bit less efficient, but still 5.8 yards a carry is good, 14 touchdowns, good, 20 catches, 227 yards and touchdown. Decent receiving production. Strength, similar to Jaylen Wright. The size-speed combo. These are the guys the NFL loves. It's not enough to have size. It's not enough to have speed. You need to have size and speed, and he has both. He delivered a 4.39 40-yard dash at 216 pounds. He's an efficient rusher, but honestly, he wasn't, a workhorse. So one of my biggest things is that NFL teams like him. He's the current favorite to be the number 1 overall running back taken in betting odds, ahead of my number 1. Weaknesses, we just talked about that a little. Never a workhorse. Couldn't break out at Oregon. He's got a bad knee injury on his profile from 2020. He tore up his entire knee. So it's not a big concern. It didn't stop him from playing well in 2022 and 2023, but, there's a little bit there. And my projected NFL draft capital, I think he's going to sneak into the late 2nd, maybe the early 3rd, but I'd lean in the late 2nd. The destination I gave for Trey Benson, I don't think people are going to love. 60 to the Bills. The Bills need another running back to complement James Cook. They don't have anyone else. So I think people would hate this landing spot. But I do think that they're one of the teams in the 2nd round who could consider a running back, especially under Joe Brady. They went a lot more run heavy. And my Superflex rookie draft value for Benson, 202, 14th overall. Could be a little bit better if he doesn't go there. Could be a little bit worse if he falls further in the draft. And lastly, my number 1 running back in this class, Jonathon Brooks. For me, Brooks is one of those examples of running back opportunity, and you'll see this from his college stats, is given more than it is earned. For a wide receiver, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear there were other wide receivers on the team. I don't want to hear that as an excuse. But since only one running back plays at a time, you can be a running back, especially in college, who has, just a bad luck And Jonathon Brooks is exactly that. In 2021, he did nothing. 21 carries, 143 yards, and touchdown, 1 catch for 12 yards. 2022, same thing, almost nothing. Why did he do almost nothing? Because Bijan Robinson was there. Bijan Robinson is so good. You're never going to take Bijan Robinson off the field in college unless you have to give him a breather or at the end of games. Additionally, he was competing with a 3rd and 4th year Roschon Johnson, who is a fine NFL running back, was drafted in his 3rd and 4th college season. Jonathon Brooks, even if he is the best running back in this class as a freshman and sophomore, was probably not better than Roschon Johnson was in years 3 and 4 in college. So the second that Brooks became the starter, though, in 2023, he was great. 187 carries, 1,139 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6.1 yards a carry, 25 catches, 286 yards, and touchdown. He did this despite his season being cut short by torn ACL in November. His strengths is excellent in 2023. Full workhorse profile, and I think he's the only one in this class who really delivers that. He showed that he could be a workhorse on the ground, through the air, at the goal line with efficiency. No one else showed all of those things. If he had not had the torn ACL, I think that Brooks would have been more of an early 2nd round pick. He would have been the clear runaway RB1 in this class. Not even close. No one else would have competed with him. And as for youth, he's the 2nd youngest running back of these guys. He turns 21 in July. So he's as young or younger as the top running backs coming out last year. And the only reason he's not the youngest running back in this class is that Braelon Allen is here, who is an outlier in terms of youth. But he's very young, and that gives him time to recover from the injury. Weaknesses, of course, the torn ACL, and only 1 year of college production. He only did it once. It's always nice to see multiple years, but in his case, I understand why we did not. My projected NFL draft capital, this is kind of chalky at this point. Everyone is saying this, but I have him going in the late 2nd round, Cowboys at 56 overall. The Cowboys the medical staff is the one examining Brooks, and they say he's going to be ready for training camp. I believe them, and I think that they're going to make this pick. I think he's going to play week 1. I am tired of hearing people who are uninformed. If you hear a Dynasty analyst say, Jonathon Brooks is going to miss the entire season, Jonathon Brooks is going to be out for 8 weeks, they are uninformed. They are wrong. That is not going to be the case. They are dead wrong, especially if the Cowboys pick him in the 2nd round. You're not going to take a running back in the 2nd round if you feel that they're going to be out for 8 weeks. You're just not going to do that. So those people are wrong, and it's a good way to know who's informed and uninformed about these prospects. And I do only have him at 201, though, in Superflex rookie draft value, 13th overall. I like Brooks. He's the running back 1 in this class, pretty clearly for me. But this is a very strong wide receiver class. Am I going to take a 56th overall Brooks over A.D. Mitchell, drafted at 17 overall? It's hard to do. That's hard to do because the track record of 1st-round wide receivers is so great. So this is just such a good wide receiver class. It's hard to pass on 1st-round wide receivers for late 2nd-round running backs. The odds are in favor of the 1st-round wide receiver. So while I don't mind Brooks and, he's my RB1, will I get him in rookie drafts if he's 109? I don't think so. So, might be a class where I'm looking in the 2nd and 3rd guys we didn't talk about today for my running backs because all these guys might go a little bit too high. Now, if you like today's surprise video, make sure to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to have lots of rookie content. This is NFL draft week. We are heating up. So we're going to have stashes. I'm going to do one last stashes video tomorrow. And then the rest of the content will all be about rookies after that. So make sure to check all of that out on this channel. If you want all the rookie ranks and all my other ranks, all my Discord content, everything, patreon.com/fantasyadvice is the place to find that. But as always, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Peace out.